Now, given that, you will understand that employees will stay with you once they realize what is in it for them. If an employee comes after COVID, we realized during COVID, majority of us stayed home, and we stayed home for a number of months with no salary, and we survived. So right now we know that we can be outside and we will live, we will not die. So employees, and when they are working for you, they have that in the back of their mind. So also you have to realize that it's not like before where they would stay with you because of the check at the end of the month. There is the aspect of the check at the end of the month, but they're also looking at themselves. What is in it for me in this place? How am I growing? Is this company just using me to grow them, or are they growing me as well? So we keep getting complaints, or when we meet in managers forums, we have these conversations about the new caliber of staff that the universities or the colleges are churning out. And so we sit and we talk about, in our time when we would come out, this is how we were so ready to do everything. So like in the hospitality industry, you go into university and you study hospitality management. When you study hospitality management, you will study housekeeping, you will do food and beverage, you'll do the front office, all of them. Then you'll come into the market. When you come into the market, you will be thinking about where you're going to start. Maybe you'll be thinking you'll be starting as an assistant manager. But in this industry, it doesn't work like that. In this industry, when you come in, you start, for you to be good for you, it would help if you started from the housekeeping and learned everything. So remember, I told you my journey about how I started waiting tables. Now, because I have done everything, I have waited tables. When I've also made beds and done housekeeping. So when I'm now managing a facility, I know what is entitled or what you need in every department, because I've worked in every department and I have no issues. I have no qualms about making a bed, about cleaning a toilet, about clearing a table. And so sometimes that is the issue that we find with the younger generation as they come in. They want to come in and immediately get a six-figure salary and sit behind a table. They do not want the process of building to sitting behind a table and getting a six-figure salary. So as my advice would be ready to work. In every industry. In our industry, we are very human resource intensive. We are very hands-on, but I also believe in every industry there is that. So the kind of culture you require as a person, as a young person entering this space, you need to be a hard worker. I don't know there's an aspect of working smart, but you cannot throw away the issue of working hard. Working hard is a strength that is required in every sector. So you see, like now, after COVID or during COVID, there were some roles that were released. Because, for example, if you're in sales and marketing and all the offices have closed, who are you going to sell to? So those ones were released, those ones went to stay home. Now, of the people who remained, you had to multitask. You had to do more than one thing, more than what is on your JD, and you had to do it with a good attitude and a willing heart. So that is what employers are looking for. They're looking for a good attitude. They normally say that a bad attitude is like a flat tire. You have the tire, but you can't go anywhere. And these days, we even have a saying. We say, I'd rather employ you with a good attitude and train you for your skills. If I find that you have a good attitude, you're willing to learn, you're willing to go the extra mile, I'd rather have you who is untrained and train you for the skill that I need you to have, if it is waitering, if it is housekeeping, if it is the front desk, than to have a person who has been well trained as a cashier, well trained as an F&B manager, but has a bad attitude. Because you can't do anything with a bad attitude. With a know-it-all, you can't learn anything, you can't be told, we can't change. If this was a plan that we had said, we can't move it. If a guest comes in, and you know, one of the things that we also need is flexibility. If a guest comes in and asks for something that is not normally what you do here, you just don't say no. You have to be willing to think, okay, this is, why do you want that? How is it that I can make it so that you still have what it is that you require without us going off our standard operating procedures? So for you to be, you have to be somebody who feels, you feel the position that you've been given. I think the best word I could use would be in Kiswahili, kujituma. When you reach the place, when you reach your workplace, send yourself. Don't only wait to do the thing that is on your JD, jitume and do more than what it is that you're supposed to be done. Extraordinary. We have too many ordinary people. What we want is just do a bit more and you stand out among your peers. Yeah. We have had to diversify. As we've talked earlier about different source markets, we also had to start looking for different avenues of bringing in, or like what other thing could we do with this asset that we have? So I have serviced apartments that I have been selling to corporate guests. So when you come in and you're looking for a place to stay because your company is international, so that has been my core business. That is who I'm selling to. But now I have to start looking for diversification. Who else needs this product that I have? Who else? And one of the things that we saw, or that we are discovering, is that because of Kenya being a hub and how ahead we are in Kenya as compared to our African counterparts, is we have people who are coming in for medical. So some of the people who stay with me, because of my ideal location near the hospitals, I'm near Nairobi Hospital and Bisha, Gertrude's. So I see people from around Africa coming in to utilize our hospitals. So now I'm into medical tourism. The other thing that also we see that is growing is sports tourism. You keep hearing that Africa has the largest youth population as compared to the rest of the world. So we have sports companies coming into Kenya to recruit young men and women for their teams. So, and because again, location being a great benefactor, or being where we are located right in the center of Nairobi. We have people coming in to stay with us as they are scouting. So sports tourism is growing. We have medical tourism growing. We have culture tourism growing. People coming to learn more. So we have people, what we would call Pan-Africanism. You are African, you are born in America, or taken, your parents went there and so you've lived there, but now you've been feeling this pull back to the motherland. And so you want to come back and learn about the culture. And so again, we have people who are coming into, and not just to go to our beach and to the bush, but they're also coming to learn about the culture. So that is how we are diversifying. We are telling them you can come and stay with us and go to the museum. You can come and stay with us and go to the railway museum and learn about this culture. And then also now the counties are taking that up. So you can go to Makueni County, you can go to Kisumu County and learn about the different things. So that is one angle. The other thing now for our local people that we're doing is, if you're going to have a baby shower, if you're getting married and the night before, you don't have to do it at home and then have to start thinking about all the cleanup. We will give you an apartment. You can have your bridal shower there. You can have your baby shower there. You can be picked from there for your wedding. And then you leave the rest of the housekeeping issues to us. You just come, enjoy your space. After you finish, you go, then you will clean. We also have a lot of, like what we are doing right now, recording. We have, in this age of where there's everybody can now have a channel, we have people coming in to do, we are a great location for shoots and for acting. A lot of that has been done in our place. So you diversify, you look at the product that you have. This product, you created it for one particular market, but this product can also be used or utilized by a different kind of market. And you are the one, because it is your product, you are the one to tell the markets that this is what my product is good for. And then they will take it up. They will take it up. Never assume that the market will put 2 and 2 together, that I can actually hold my baby shower in an apartment instead of my home, or instead of going to a garden restaurant. Don't assume that they can do that. You tell them you can actually do it here, and you see that they will come and take it up. In this day and age, what makes a good manager? We've seen a lot of memes going around saying that people don't only leave work, they leave managers. So what makes a good manager? As a manager, because you're managing those 3 things that I've told you, you're managing the asset, you're managing the people, and you're managing the money. Those are your key things that you should be looking at all times. Every day when you wake up, when you report, that is what you're looking at. You're looking at the manpower that you have, you're looking at your asset or the machinery that you have, and you're looking at the money. You have to keep your fingers on those 3, and those 3 tell you a story. When your manpower is leaving you, come in and you have 3 resignations, or somebody who didn't just show up, or people are walking around looking gloomy. When your manpower is not working, you address it. Call what you need to do. Talk to the person individually. Call a meeting. Do a team building. Do a training. Find out what it is. Don't just look at a bleeding manpower and assume it. Yeah. If your asset, the machinery that you have to create this money, has a problem, you fix it. There's a Swahili saying that usipoziba ufa utajenga ukuta. So sometimes we look at it, we see a leaking pipe, we say, we will deal with it. The next time you will be dealing with something much bigger than that. So you address it at the crack situation, and you will not have to build a whole wall. So the other thing is the money. The money tells a story. When you see the money dwindling, if you see the money going up, look at the data. Where is it coming from? Now that brings me to this point about data. Everything right now is going towards data. We used to make decisions based on feelings, gut feelings, on thoughts. Somebody opens a butchery, he's open after 3 months, there must be business there. I rent that space next to him and open a butchery. Somebody opens a car wash, he's been open 6 months, you're always seeing cars outside there, decide, that is an opportunity, open your car wash right next to it. Shortly, both of you are closed. What data? We have so much data, and actually in the region, Kenya collects a lot of data. What do we do with this data that we are collecting? Yeah, go back into the data that you have and mine it, and that's what we did when after COVID we started looking at who is patronizing us, and we saw that people who are making inquiries are people from Africa. Okay, so why are we marketing, or why are we targeting Europe if Europe is not traveling? And you make decisions based on data. As a manager, you have to look at the data. You have to collect data so that you can look at it. And we have many different ways of collecting data. We have software that collects data, or you can collect it by yourself, or you can talk to the people who have the data and then use that data to make informed decisions. If you're going to add a restaurant, if you're going to add apartments, if you're going to add rooms, if you're going to reduce staff, if you're going to add staff, what data are you working with to support the decisions that you're making? Don't walk blind when you have so much data that you can use. There is always, ask for people. The 4th person will have the data that you're looking for to help you make the decision that you need to make, the crucial decision that you need to make moving forward. If you decide to add a pool to your hotel, okay, what data are you using? How many people have called, are requesting, asking for a pool? If you're going to reduce your rates, What data are you using? How many people have asked for lower rates? If you're going to raise your rates, what data are you using to confirm or to support the decision that you're making moving forward? Yes, it is important to use data. I think everyone or anyone who's on Twitter has started seeing that the younger generation, they are more adventurous than the older generation. The younger generation will wake up and over a holiday like Easter, decide to overland to Turkana or to drive to Lamu, you know. They are very adventurous, and I think that is a new phase of tourism that we are getting into. And I'm happy about that because it opens up, first of all, your country, then it opens up Africa. Growing up, like my grandmother, by the time my grandmother passed on, she had never been to Kisumu. She was born in Makueni area. She had gone to Malindi, and the way she ended up in Malindi was because her husband was a veterinary doctor, and so they ended up being posted there. But we have a generation, our older generation, who even some of them, you are born in Nyeri, you have never been to Mombasa. But this generation that is coming up is a generation that likes to go on adventures. So before, the kind of traffic jams that we see at Kimende, we never used to see this before. But now the younger generation is traveling. They want to go to Kisumu, they want to go to Kakamega, they want to go to Nandi Hills to go and see and travel, and that is very good. And just as the same way as we are doing it in Kenya, where we want to go see other counties that we did not grow up in, this is also reflected in Africa. Now you see people traveling from Nairobi going into Arusha. You see people overlanding all the way to South Africa. The other day, there's a gentleman in an Outlander who did all the way to West Africa. He got into Nigeria as well. So this is a very interesting space. Africa is one, and Africa is ours. As we open it like this, so my market is no longer only Kenya. My market is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. My market is West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa, Namibia, and we keep doing that. So we in this space, we need spaces where these people who are overlanding can sleep, can rest. That is a place that is clean, that has water, that has a good meal. And so that this is the next frontier. Even if you're in all these different places, if you're in Namibia and you are in Uganda and you are in Congo, start thinking in those places. It is good to have a Radisson, a branded big hotel, that is good. But for the bigger percentage of the people who are doing this, all they want is a nice guest house that has hot water, that has a nice clean bed, that they can rest as they continue on to the next space. Now that is with hospitality, but this market is also for everyone. I remember once we did an overlanding all the way to Goma. From Nairobi, we started from Nairobi, entered in through Uganda and into DRC. And when we got to Goma, their delicacy, whenever you go visit a home, was potatoes. They would make for you chips with mayonnaise. For them, that was a very big deal. Now, can you imagine if me farming in Nyandarua and my market is not only Nairobi, Marikiti, but also DRC? The market will just keep on opening. Yeah, I would have more and more places to sell. If I'm producing, like right now, I could be cooking and I'm using onions that have come from Tanzania. I'm using potatoes that have come from Nyandarua, and my cabbages are grown in Nyandarua. But maybe the meat or something that I'm using has been grown in Tanzania, and there's another one that has been grown in Ethiopia, that I'm drinking tea that has been grown in Ethiopia. We keep opening. The market is bigger. We have a bigger place. Having one Africa, a united Africa, is good for all of us. And that is why it is important when our neighbors have peace, even us, we have peace. Yeah, so when we see that there's conflict in our neighbors, we don't think it is somebody else's problem. It is also our problem because our market there has been affected. So we have to think of it like that and pray for peace also with all our neighbors. And I like what the government is doing by sending our peacekeepers to keep peace within our neighbors. How do we come up with a product? So there's the aspect of data where you do feasibility studies. But sometimes I see that our businesses fail because we start with a product that the product maker, thinks that the world needs. So I create a product that the world needs, I give it to them, they reject it, my business closes down. So where should it start? Where should the conception? It should start with a need. I believe that it should start with a need. That you're bringing out a product to meet a need that is already there. So if I bring you this product that is meeting your need, then you will buy it. So one of the facilities that I worked in the beginning was a guest house, or something that you call a bed and breakfast. It was a B&B. It was a bed and breakfast. So what we are giving you is a place to sleep and breakfast. Your lunch, you sort yourself out. Dinner, you sort yourself out. We were right in the middle of the center of the city, so there are many places you could find dinner. And how did this concept come up? This is how it came up. That there were people who were coming into the city for training, and so majority of the time they will spend at their office. So they will be given work, they'll be given lunch there, and maybe they would also end up having to have dinner meetings with the people that they had come to see. So basically what they were looking for was a comfortable place to sleep. So, and have a breakfast and then go off for their training meetings or for other meetings that they had. So when we heard that there was this need, then we created a space for them where and the cost, of course, it will be commensurate because it's not very highly priced. And this worked very well. The market took it in. It was like, oh, wow, this is exactly what we need. My people coming from Kericho, my people coming from Mombasa, Kisumu, they can be kept at your hotel, have breakfast, come in to the headquarters for training and go. So we had very good customers. We had bankers and all. And it was working very well. Then we thought to ourselves that this product that is working very well in this side of town could work also very well in another side of town. And without much, I think we just assumed, we went and opened a facility on the other side of town for the same. And the reason also was because on that other side of town, there were many headquarters. And we imagined that this headquarters would also keep their people with us. It did not do well. That facility had to close down. Again, come back to data, ask people questions, and don't only assume. Don't give the market what you think it needs. Give the market what it is asking for. While we were still running this facility, our breakfast was an African breakfast. You had the ndomas, you had we had chapatis and mandazis and bread. You know, asubuhi, you wake up, you have a heavy African breakfast. And that is how it works here. Because sometimes you might not eat lunch, you'll be so busy. So you have a heavy breakfast and then you go off. But then we started surveying what other B&Bs do outside there. We saw that many other branded, internationally branded facilities, for their bed and breakfast, they would only just give a basic breakfast. They would give you cereals and milk and bread, you know, because in the West, people have a light breakfast and then they go off and then they eat a heavy later on. So we decided that is what we are going to do because we want to be advanced. We have seen what the brands are doing, so that is what we're going to do. We're going to introduce a light breakfast for you in the morning. Let me tell you, the kind of backlash that we received from our guests. We were back to offering our heavy breakfast in the morning. What we did is we took something that was working outside there, did not ask our market whether that is what they wanted, and we just gave it to them. And of course, they will fight. It is very important that when you decide to do something, when you decide to bring a product to the market, don't bring what to you. Me, I like green tea. I think the rest of the world will really enjoy this green tea and come and give them. No, go out and ask them what it is that they need Why do they need it? How do they need it? At what time do they need it? In what quantities do they need it? How do they need it branded? Then give them what they want, then they will buy it. So this has been Rhoda Mwikali Kero, a hospitality operations manager, passionate about the hospitality sector. And you have been watching PrayerCaveTV, and this is my Source Business Show. Thank you.